So you might feel as though designer and niche brands are ripping you off. They're continuing to raise their prices year over year for a product that doesn't really seem to maybe justify an increase in price. I mean, how much innovation has really occurred within new fragrance releases in order to justify the price increases? I think we could argue probably not a whole lot. I'm not a designer snob. I'm not a niche snob either. I just, I see numbers change and then I look at it and go, okay, that's either going up or going down. It doesn't take somebody super smart to figure this stuff out. That prices are just kind of insane these days, especially for designer fragrances, which at one point were supposed to be somewhat affordable. But today, I'm going to be going over some clone fragrances that you can wear that, when you purchase these, you don't really feel like you're being taken advantage of. You don't really feel like you're overpaying for something. And also, I think most notably, you don't get that almost instant like buyer's remorse feeling. When you purchase something expensive, then you go, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. These are all affordable to the point where that's just not going to be existent. Some designer clones, a couple niche clones, a couple discontinued fragrance clones in here as well. We have a little bit of everything. Price point for all of these are going to be $50 or less. Some are dramatically less than $50. Some are right on the line, but even at $50, they are still less than half the price of whatever it is that they're a clone of. So still a big difference in price nonetheless. This first one is Grandeur Tribal Exotic, or Grandeur Elite Tribal Exotic. So, I think the color alone will give you a clue here, but it's a Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden clone. Now, as you know, there are many to choose from at this point, a lot of which are great, and probably one of the more popular ones right now, just because it's somewhat new, is House Tropical by Rasasi. I have it. I love it. I think it is amazing. Price point on that one is usually somewhere around, I think, $35 to $40. It might be sold out right now. Not 100% sure. This one usually is going to be a little bit more inexpensive. So that's a direction that you can go. This fragrance clone brand, they've cloned quite a few different scents here. A couple from Jean Paul Gaultier, like they have a Le Mans Elixir clone, basically in the same bottle as this, but just gold. They also have a really good clone of La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. It's in a completely different bottle presentation, but I've featured it on the channel before. So they kind of go after the ones that people are really searching for. But in this case, it is just super, super close to Paradise Garden. You get that tropical kind of coconut smell, some of the green notes, you know how it goes. Paradise Garden is a little bit fresher than the Eau de Toilette and the Le Parfum, but still does maintain some of that sweetness. And this follows the exact same blueprint as that one does. And I have to admit, this fragrance smells amazing. This DNA smells amazing. No matter you go for this clone, a different clone, or the original one, they smell wonderful. Now, I will say with this, Paradise Garden on discounters is not outrageously priced. And you'll find that a few of the designer fragrances in here that we talk about, when you look at them on discounters, they're not horrendous. The retail prices kind of paint a different picture, and that's more or less where people are probably feeling as though they're getting ripped off a little bit. And keep in mind, there are a lot of guys out there who just aren't in this fragrance community. Therefore, they do their fragrance shopping at Macy's, Sephora. They just go down to the store and buy it at full retail, and you know, they're really getting rinsed pretty good there. A lot of us luckily know that you can be, you know, somewhat price cognizant and shop on discounters and save some money. But, you know, again, there are still a few that even at discounters, they are outrageously priced. This next one is French Avenue Opus Grande. I love the bottle. It looks really cool. The color is neat. It's pretty bright, but then also just the shape, and also the presentation that it arrived in was really cool. Also, highly recommend checking this out if you can. It's basically a Bond Number 9 Greenwich Village clone. That can be a little bit of a tongue twister to say that fast, but it is. That's kind of where this one falls into play. And obviously, Bond Number 9, their stuff is expensive, no way around it. Whether you go discounters or, you know, full retail price. You know, Bleecker Street is amazing. I love it. The Centerpiece is really good, but, you know, when it comes down to it, I just For me, a lot of the Bond number 9s aren't really worth the price point, so I don't really buy them too much. Mostly do sampling. From the ones that I've tried, I've been let down probably more often than not, I would say. But Greenwich Village is one that I do really like. I've just never really been able to justify the price on a full bottle. And so luckily at this point in time, you can pretty much set out and find a clone of anything. I mean, it's so crazy now how it works. And this is one. I don't know, I'm sure there are other clones as well, but this one definitely is one of the more popular ones. Got orange, water lily, jasmine. It's bright, it's fresh, it's kind of watery, citrusy. It's really kind of spring oriented for me. Spring, maybe early summer. You know, I wouldn't wear this when it gets too hot because there is still some sweetness to go along with it, but I really love how it smells. And at this price point, about $49 to $50, I would say, for this one. Comes in at a much lower price than the Bond number 9. This is not the cheapest clone out there, but again, you're still saving money. All right, let's go for something else. We have French Avenue Elysian Onyx. Now this bottle is awesome. You can see the antlers up top. You kind of zoom out here a little bit. You can see kind of a green gradient on the bottle. I don't know how well it shows up. But yeah, you can see it. I love the presentation. Now, the downside with these is they are kind of tippy, so if you have them stacked up, you know, pretty easy to knock them over and kind of create a domino effect depending on what you have around it. But other than that, really cool bottle and kind of heavy too. This is a clone actually of Memo Paris African Leather, which you might not expect. I don't know. At least I didn't. Elysian, you know, immediately I think Elysium. Of course, it doesn't have to be that. But I was thinking something fresher. I was thinking something maybe more woody and not just straight up leather. But yeah, African leather, which I love. That is, I believe that might be the only Memo Paris I have. I might have one other, maybe. But Memo African leather is by far the most popular one from the brand. And so that's the one that I for sure have. And I've always really loved. Now, can be a little bit more daring. And it's one that I find, you know, a bit harder to pull off, more or less just because I kind of have to be in the mood for it. And also it just depends on what situation or what event I'm attending or what it is that I'm going to do. If I'm just going shopping, I'm probably not going to wear something like that. You know, you kind of want it to be in a situation where maybe you're a little bit more dressed up. However, when it comes to something like this clone, it's cheaper, and so you don't feel as though you need to conserve it because you didn't pay as much for it. So that's kind of one of the positives about these clones as well, is you just are more likely to wear them more because you didn't pay $200 for the original bottle. Leathery, strong, masculine. And if you've ever smelled African leather and this clone, there's this interesting cooling, almost mintiness about it, which you would not expect out of a, you know, kind of a animalic leaning leather scent like this, but really smell it. You can feel it in your nose. It's almost like that menthol type of feel, kind of similar to what you get out of a Parfums de Marly Layton, where, you know, it doesn't necessarily smell like mint, but it has this cooling refreshingness that you can actually feel. This has that as well. So does African leather, and I love it. I think it's really cool, and it's kind of a refreshing twist. This next one is Baccarat Rouge 540. Oh, sorry. This next one is Armaf Club de Nuit Untold. It is a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540. Obviously, that one it's very expensive, has been for a long time. And the crazy thing about that was that it got really popular, super hyped up, and evidently people were buying the heck out of it. It surprises me because of the price point. The retail is just ungodly. I don't even know what it is off the top of my head. Discounted price on a 70 ml bottle usually is around like $280, I think, something like that. Am I right? $270 to $290 or something, depending on tester or not, for 70 ml. So that puts it way more expensive than a Ventus, more expensive than a lot of your popular hyped up niche fragrances. And again, that's discounted price. I would imagine with the hype that was going around and how far this one was reaching, people were buying that at full retail too. So just crazy expensive stuff. Just unjustifiable for so many people, especially at that small bottle size. And you either can choose 70 ml or 200. There's nothing in between. So kind of bizarre. But luckily, Armaf Club de Nuit Untold comes in for around, I don't know, $35, $40 or so. You can get a big 200 ml bottle now. You have been able to for a little while. And those are I think like $55 or $60. So just a ton for the price point, and it might be a way to go, although probably not necessary for everybody, but this is very close to the EDP. It's incredibly accurate. This woody, light, transparent, amberwood, saffron, woody scent. It smells great, not for everybody. So in terms of a blind buy, it would be, you know, you wouldn't want to blind buy Baccarat Rouge 540. You could sample it. You're going to be paying a lot of money just for a small sample. You could buy a sample of the Armaf, but this isn't that expensive for a full bottle. So if you're going to blind buy something, you would maybe want to blind buy the clone, and then worst case, you don't like it, you're only out $35. Maybe you can just sell it or swap it or trade it to somebody else and kind of come out even. But ways you can go about it. This isn't going to be for everybody, but for those who like this Baccarat Rouge 540 DNA, this Armaf will get you there. All right, this next one is a clone of a discontinued fragrance that I absolutely love. Now, this was always reasonably priced. So there was no, I guess when it was discontinued, third-party retailers and discounters marked up the price. That is not on the brand, though. Like, the brand did not raise the prices. That's just kind of what happened as secondary effect. But this is a Pendora Scents Amorist, and it's a clone of Bulgari Aqua Amara. Aqua Amara, anybody who's been around for a while, go back, whatever it is, 6, 7 years, 8 years ago or whatever, you would have seen this one making its rounds and getting really popular. And at the time, man, I think you're probably looking at $50. I can't remember, to be honest. It was a while ago, but I know it was probably going to be somewhere around in there. Usually most of the Bulgari Aquas at that time were just mid-range, very reasonable. That's why they were so popular. They were such a reasonable price, and they were so, so good. They discontinued Bulgari Aqua Amara, and again, prices went up on the gray market. Again, not as a result of Bulgaria themselves. So they were actually fair with their pricing on this one. Even retail wasn't bad, and discounter was even better. But I wanted to include this one in here anyway because you still do hear about Aqua Amara every now and then. There's always going to be people hunting down the discontinued fragrances and stuff. And if you were to go on eBay or whatever, you're going to be looking at crazy prices. I wouldn't pay those for it. You could get something like this, which is going to get you right where you need to be. It's about as close as you can possibly get for $30 to $35, really. So that's the way I would go. It is cool to own the discontinued stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying, you don't have to. There are options. This next one is Lattafa Mahir Legacy. It's a clone of Parfums de Marly Sedley. Most of you know about it already. Cool bottle on this one as well. Love the cap. Heavy, high quality feeling. Sedley is all about that mint, the bergamot, the ambroxan. Minty fresh, green, kind of a little bit of an apple in here as well, not a ton. Kind of their answer to a blue fragrance a little bit. You could say that Percival was, because I believe that Percival came out first. Percival's a lot more musky, and yeah, still has a little bit of that blue fragrance going on, but Sedley more so. Now that being said, it's not a clone of anything. It doesn't smell like Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or Dylan Blue or anything. It's different, but you could definitely say that it is in that category for sure. Just that fresh blue, fresh out of the shower soapiness that it has is very indicative of a modern day blue fragrance style, which there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, Sedley is usually around $200 when it's actually discounted. This is going to be, I don't know, I think it's $35 to $40, and a great performer as well. Last up for this video, we have Lowe Immortal by Maison Alhambra. It's a clone of Louis Vuitton Limoncite, which is expensive, but really good, and one of my favorites. Honestly, it's hard to rank my favorites because as expensive as they are, they've put out some amazing scents. Imagination's probably first. This one's probably second. Pacific Chill probably third. I don't know, maybe Afternoon Swim in number 4 spot. I don't know, but somewhere around in there. But this I do really like. I enjoy it a lot. Real beautiful kind of grapefruit, lemon, sour smell, but it's sour with like the sugared sweetness, if that makes sense. It's like you have like a bowl of citrus and you just threw a little sugar on top just to kind of take some of the sour bite away from it, just a little bit, just to kind of ease things up. That's kind of what it smells like. It smells really good. I already probably said, but this is usually around $20 to $30, probably one of the most affordable clones in this video, versus like $300+ for the Louis Vuitton, so big savings here. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some clone fragrances that definitely aren't ripping you off like you might feel as though some designer fragrances are, and niche. I will drop links to these down below because obviously you can't buy these at retail, you know, in store really, so shop at discounters, make it easy for you down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.